Well, well, if it isn't the slaves and the traitor. I don't remember giving you permission to enter the palace.
So it's true. You really are the one behind all this, Kelzelik.
I don't remember giving you permission to speak either. Know your place, slave.
Now we see his true colors.
Yeah, a despicable excuse for a human being. Though really, I guess that makes him pretty ordinary, huh?
Kelzelik, you were Lord Dohalim's most trusted advisor. His closest ally. Why would you betray him?
Don't be a fool! I didn't serve him because I wanted to. I expect a mere slave would know, but there are many powerful contenders for the position of Lord. A contest of strength determines the one who will be Lord and undisputed ruler of a realm. There is no choice in the selection. If my master had any ambitions of becoming the sovereign, I would have gladly served him.
But he had no intention of fighting for the crown.
Indeed. Can you slaves even imagine how that looked to the rest of us? Enduring the whims of an ambitionless lord, all we could do was wait for the end as we suffered through our humiliation.
You want suffering? Try being Dahnan for a day.
So you plotted against Lord Dohalim in secret. And when my brother found out...
And I would do it all again if it meant returning Minancia to its rightful state! A realm where Dahnans are slaves and Renans their masters. It's the natural order.
Enough! Who are you to decide what is natural or rightful, traitor? Miguel, my brother, he dreamed of building a world free of suffering. He gave his life for that dream. And all you've managed to build is a lake of death! You killed my brother. And now you'll die for it! My brother's dead because of you!
Why should I concern myself with the passing of one pathetic slave?
Have you no shame?
Go over the stockpile. Careful! It has some kind of camouflage.
Armor won't
Go for the weak point!
Demon Fang!
Annihilation! Not in your dreams! Here's a healing arc! Light after land!
I really owe you one.
Demon Fang!
I'll cover you! In here! Recover!
I really owe you one.
Demon Fang!
I never miss!
You're mine!
Annihilation!
It vanished again?
Listen carefully and keep your eyes peeled.
Air thrust! Now to the Mega Ray!
Burn in hell!
I'll run you through!
Demon Fang!
Healing
Swallow
Shock!
Blade!
Here comes!
Talon Hurricane! Demon Fang!
No!
Can't end here!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! I'll be saving this one! Resuscitation! Sleep now!
You see, what happened there is you crossed me. I shouldn't have done that.
Demon Fang!
Radiant, here!
Demon Fang!
Here's a healing art!
Demon Fang!
Heart shield!
I'll run you through! You're mine!
Recover!
Demon Fang!
Nothing gets by me!
Far enough!
I owe you one! I'll run you through! You're mine!
Where are you going?
Swallow Blade! Demon
healing wall.
Fang! This one's all mine! Not today!
Healing Nova!
Demon Fang!
In the wind! In here!
Swallow Blade! Demon Fang!
Into the shadows! Mega Ray!
Demon Fang!
Supernova! Lower that hit!
Demon Fang!
Annihilation!
Demon Fang!
In here! Will this help? I'll
Demon
be saving
Fang!
this way!
I'll smash you!
Healing circle!
I'm not feeling so great.
Swallow Blade! You're mine!
Here! Raging Cascade!
Take this!
Arc
Swallow
Shield!
Blade!
Oh, not in your dreams!
Demon Fang! It's over! You're mine! You're finished! Demon Fang! Try harder! My turn!
Here I Raging cascade!
Not today!
Annihilation!
Demon Fang!
This one!
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
I'll heal you all!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Will this help?
Demon Fang! Big Blast! Demon Fang!
Healing circle!
I owe you one.
Raging
Demon Fang!
cascade!
More super?
Keep calm and take them down!
Listen to it! Demon Fang!
More of that way! It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone! Demon Fang!
Dance in the wind!
You may be strong, but I'll never back down! Demon Fang!
Here, let me help! Dance in the wind!
Demon Fang! Stay away from my friend!
Here goes!
Ignite!
Here goes! Confiscated! Here! Far enough!
Demon Fang!
Dance in the wind! I'll bring you
Dragon
back
form!
Photon flash! I'll bring you back from death.
Demon Fang!
Bring you back
Swallow
from
Blade!
Thunder
Kick it!
shield!
Crush!
Dance in
It's
the
over!
wind! Sleep now!
Lick up! Crush! It's over!
Where are you going?
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Radiant? Here! Will this help?
Eat this!
I'll be saving this one!
Come on!
Here goes!
It's
Here!
Not today! Demon Fang! Try harder! Now! Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Raging cascade!
Swallow Blade! Demon Fang!
Dance in the wind!
This is looking good! Demon Fang! Swallow Blade!
On a roll! I'm ready! I was overconfident.
You'll pay for that! Demon Fang! Flash! You're mine! Try this! Explosive Rain!
Not on my watch!
I'm on! Demon Fang!
Seal!
But I'm not done! Demon Fang! I owe you one! This should do it! Demon Fang!
Won't save you!
That
Demon
move!
Fang! Eat dirt! Here comes the big one! Demon Fang!
Roll now!
Dragon Swarm!
Sleep now!
Demon
Not
Fang!
saving this one!
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Here! Annihilation! More for the stockpile! Photon flash!
Astral Art?
That's my cue!
Try harder! Shut him down! We got him on the run!
Don't get cocky!
Right. Still any... Fight! Demon Fang!
Here goes! One
Demon Fang!
Whoa! You alright?
Yeah,
Never miss!
I'll be okay.
Dance in the wind!
Demon
Sleep now!
Fang!
Heal you all!
You picked the wrong fight!
More for the
Demon
stockpile!
Fang!
Healing circle!
Try this!
Here goes!
Explosive Rain!
I really owe you one.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Here goes! Not on my watch! Reload! I'm out of arrows! More where that came from! I'm all
Too much.
pumped up. Annihilation!
Demon Fang!
Reload! Shining Supernova! Raging cascade!
I've let you all down.
Ready to healing circle!
Thanks!
I'll bring you back to
Demon Fang!
Stop! In here! More
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Fine not too long ago.
Demon Fang! Try harder! My turn! Swallow Blade! Demon Fang! This one's all mine!
Light astral energy!
Eat dirt!
Dance in the wind!
Demon
Here!
Fang!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
You filthy slaves are despicable!
Your dreams of attaining lordship are no more. Give up, Kelzelik.
Attaining lordship? Ridiculous. Only those who possess a master core can become a lord. What, did you think just anyone could do it?
But then, what were you trying to accomplish with this? Didn't you betray your lord?
Yes, that's true. However, there are other lords.
Other lords? So you mean...
At last, the truth is revealed.
Dohalim, where have you been this whole time?
Cleaning up. Kelzelik, you've made your last of these.
The fruit of Helgen?
It can't be. You found my production facility?
Correct. And I tore it down. But something still troubles me. It's clear that this is no ordinary fruit. Nor was the equipment used to grow it. You couldn't have done all this without outside assistance. Indeed, something like this must have come from another realm. Mahak-Sar, perhaps?
You actually expect me to talk now? At this point, the contest for the crown will be over soon enough, and you will finally receive the punishment you deserve for your weakness.
I've already received my punishment. May this be my final act as the Lord of Elder Menancia. Go to Mahak-Sar, Ganeth Haros, wherever you think you'll find a suitable lord.
Are you all right with this? He killed your brother after all.
He did. But then I thought, he's nothing more than one common, ordinary Renan. He's not worthy of my time or my anger, right?
So after everything, was the dream of coexisting just a dream? What is that?
Those are the cheers of the brave Dahnans who overpowered Kelzelik's forces.
Wait, they challenged the Renans?
Indeed. A militia made up of Dahnan guardsmen, Renan supporters, and of course, the Gold Dust Cats.
Do we have you to thank for bringing them all together?
Regardless of what your original motivations were, your dream of coexistence saved countless lives. And now, those people out there are fighting to keep that dream alive. That's something real.
Be that as it may, they do so now by their own hands. These people no longer need any lord.
Where are you going?
To put an end to the crown contest. So long as its madness persists, peace will remain ever out of reach. I cannot allow it to continue.
The crown contest impacts far more than just the Dahnans. You're choosing to fight Lenegis and the entire Empire.
I am well aware. However, if I wish to keep this dream from dying, then I have little choice in the matter. Besides, it's the least I can do.
So you're gonna go out there and make that dream real on your own?
You may be decided on your path, but that doesn't make it any less difficult.
Why not walk that road with us?
Pardon?
You heard me. We're fighting to liberate the Dahnans. You're fighting for the people of this realm. I'd say we're on the same path, really. It would only make sense for us to walk it together.
Dahnan dissidents, side by side with a Renan lord? Not the least intriguing invitation I've received. An invitation which would only be proper courtesy for me to accept.
I'll take that as a yes.
Hey, where'd Kisara go? I don't see her anywhere.
Maybe she just needed some time alone. A lot's happened.
That makes sense. She did just lose her brother after all.
We ought to keep moving as well. So long as there are lords who draw breath, we have a mission to complete. Kisara's a big girl. I'm sure she can handle herself. We should hurry on ahead to our next destination.
I guess you're right. And it is a lot safer here than it was. What do you think, Dohalim?
I am not sure I have the right to say anything as far as Kisara is concerned.
Fair enough. Well, I, for one, would like to say goodbye if we get a chance. Let's keep an eye out for her as we leave.
What's Kisara going to do now?
I'm sure it's complicated for her.
Where did Kisara run off to?
You don't think she took off after Kelzelik, do you?
No. Miguel entrusted her with his dream. She wouldn't do something reckless like that. Right now, I think she just needs time to think. What she does from here on out is up to her. She has to be the one to decide.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hootle?
You all arrived here from Cyslodia, yes? In that case, you should depart via the south gate, rather than the one you arrived through.
After all that, Kisara never came back to see us.
I'm surprised she slipped away without us noticing. Where would she even go? I hope this place survives. You think the Dahnans and Renans have a chance of getting along? We didn't really do much to change things around here, did we?
This realm had its own walls to overcome. And in the end, it was the people themselves who decided to break them down, without any help from us. I hope they keep going. I really do.
Yeah, well, if you say so, I guess. Huh?
All right. I leave command of the Gold Dust Cats in your hands.
You've got nothing to worry about, Kisara. I'll do your brother proud.
Looks like it's time to go. Take good care of Zare for me. All right, Legil?
You've got it. Stay safe, Kisara.
Did you come to say goodbye?
Actually, I was wondering if you could use another companion.
Huh?
Well, we certainly don't mind you coming along. We just figured you'd stay behind and help rebuild. These people could use you.
I thought much the same thing. However, in the end, something changed my mind. Ever since Miguel died, I've been thinking a lot. About where I went wrong, what I should have done differently. You know, that sort of thing. It's true that our dream of coexistence saved many Dahnan lives, but we were naive and short-sighted. I was so wrapped up in my idea of how things should be that I didn't see the problems that existed right in front of us. I thought we had been given a utopia. And so I never bothered to look too far past its surface. I chose to be ignorant. And because of that, because of me, my brother...
Miguel's death wasn't your fault, Kisara.
Perhaps you're right. But in the end, it was me he entrusted this dream to. I learned that nothing in this life is free, or gained without sacrifice. Now that I know that, I'll just have to figure out what else I don't know.
So, decided to join us?
I have. And hopefully I can continue to protect Elda Menencia from outside the dream world, for the sake of those still inside.
And here I thought you joined for an opportunity on my life.
In all honesty, I'm grateful to you. I truly am. I don't blame you for what happened. But I must also leave your service. No longer will I be defined by protecting a Renan lord. From now on, when I fight to protect my dream. All I ask is that you do your part, that you fight alongside me, not just for those who used to believe in your dream, but for those that still do. Dohalim.
I understand. I'm no longer a lord anyway.
Well, this crew just gets bigger and bigger. All right, where to, team?
We make for Mahag Sar, the Valley of the Four Winds.
Yes!
Right.
No way.
I don't believe this!
Great!
Very nice. What?
I guess...
Law.
Yeah! Whoa! Is that... Oh, this is bad.
Ah!
Just great.
Yes!
Man, that was amazing! No wonder the old man was so gung-ho. I'm amazed how easily you can move such a giant shield around like it's nothing.
Really? It's not actually as heavy as it looks.
It's really reassuring to have someone like you protecting us, though.
You know, I guess I never realized it before, but looking back, I've always been the sort to put myself in harm's way to protect those around me, even before I joined the Eldomenencia Guard. So in a way, using this shield to keep you all safe feels like it's what I was meant to do.
You don't need to worry about protecting me. I don't plan on relying on you.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. I don't protect people because they ask me to. I do it because I want to, and because I think it's the right thing to do. That goes for you too, Dohalim.
Me?
Yes. You see, you and I both want the same thing. We have the same goal. That means it's in my best interest to continue to protect and keep you safe as well. Even now.
I'm not sure how much protecting I'll need either, but I appreciate the thought. I'm sure you'll do us proud, Kisara.
Right. You can all count on me.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Mahag Sar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. They try to...
What was Kelzelik even after in the end?
Isn't it obvious? Clearly he wanted the throne for himself, and was gonna have his goons execute Dohalim to get it.
He had to have known he couldn't hope to defeat a lord. He should have run while he had the chance, instead of holding himself up in the palace.
Maybe he thought he couldn't run? Either way, the outcome's the same.
So he got desperate and decided to go for broke?
One might argue that he was another victim of mine, in a sense.
Huh?
There is no greater calling in life to a Renan than the crown contest, yet I refused to take part. The shock he felt at that must have been truly immense. Enough to drive him to revolt, even though doing so meant defying Renan hierarchy.
I know I've said this before, but Dahnans and Renans wouldn't coexist here if it wasn't for your stance.
But that was no lofty idealism on my part, nor do I feel any pride at what occurred.
Spare us the pity party. You literally just joined us to uphold those ideals.
Shion?
No, she is absolutely correct. I shall speak no more of my misgivings.
It's on!
Raging Cannon! It's in the sky is mine! This one's mine!
Demon Fang! Try this!
Seal!
Explosive ring!
They rescue! You gotta jump for cover, okay?
Not good! Slash! Demon Fang! Try this!
Here I go!
Explosive ring! Nice hit!
Lightning orb!
Looks like it could be worth something.
Go no further!
Swallow blade!
Radiant
Damn it!
here!
Demon Fang!
There! And again!
It's all right! Watch it!
Annihilation!
Swallow blade! Demon
Leonard
Fang!
Raging Cascade!
Slash!
Healing Furnace!
We're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your
So
eyes
much
off
for
the
sitting
prize.
this fight out.
That wouldn't be a complaint.
Nope, that'd be silly.
Mega Ray!
Well then, I should probably think about tonight's
Hoo-hoo!
menu.
Hoo! Hoo-hoo-hoo! Maybe something's going on in the forest. Get lost!
Swallow blade!
Dance in the wind!
Ignite!
Radiant sleep now!
Can't get out of this!
More for the stockpile! Here I go!
Demon!
It's over! Watch, here goes!
Explosive ring!
Slash!
Infernal turret! You're mine! Demon Fang!
This one's mine!
Nothing up!
Get out of
That's what my
my sight,
shield's
Miner, you'll
for.
get hit!
Get behind me!
Right, good. Sorry, I'll leave it to you.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
This'll come in handy.
Nicely done.
There's something... I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renan eyes.
Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble.
I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod.
You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
You're still not done fishing yet? Boring.
You need patience to fish. Not my lucky day, I guess. We've got a lively one. I'll get you next time. And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins.
Miguel told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for the food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you ever feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, just let me know.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us.
Okay!
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job.
Hey. Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
Why are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, La?
Huh? Why are you asking me?
This flavor, why, it rivals the cooking of my own chefs in the palace.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now, it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives, so it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol, the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind, either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him. You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Before we go, do you guys have everything? We should be able to cook here.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Dahnans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Dahnan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman. And this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Dahnan, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Dahnans in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Dahnans in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Demon Fang! I'm on it! Dragon Sword!
Airborne beast.
Explosive Ray!
Flying freak!
If it just sits still.
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Not in your dreams!
Armor won't save you!
Burn in hell! Swallow Blade! You're done! You're mine!
You hear it?
Demon Fang!
Here! I'm out of ammo!
Take this! Swallow Blade!
Photon Blast! Dance in the wind!
I'm on it!
Air thrust!
The tide of battle has turned.
That's the power of comrades in arms.
Right. Comrades in arms.
Too sentimental.
Here! To die in! Opposite
You're mine! Demon Fang!
I can do it all day!
Demon Fang!
Do it! Here! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
All right.
There's nowhere to run from my art.
When he slows down, that's our chance.
He's like trying to keep up with the wall!
Demon Fang! Try this!
Take this! Up and down the front!
It's over! Demon Fang! Try harder!
Not a chance.
Now we're not...
I'm on it! Now!
Explosive Ray!
Pass away!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And the pummeling to me! One at a time!
Go away!
In a bind?
Here!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Get on
Demon... Explosive Ray!
Light extra energy!
Demon Fang! Try this!
Showtime! Steering here!
Demon Fang! Try this!
I'm out time!
Explosive Ring! Demon Fang!
I'm on it! In here!
Swallow Blade! Infernal Torrent! Demon Fang! Swallow Blade!
Magna Ray!
Take this!
Annihilate! him!
Swallow blade!
Mega ray!
Take this!
Go get him!
Demon Blade! Take this!
I'll
run you through! You're mine! You're finished! I'll run you through!
Take this!
Try this!
It must take guts to fight without a weapon.
I'm not brave. I just do what I have to.
If you're ever in a pinch,
Now!
just say the word.
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Dahnan relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Dahnan history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course. Treasure. What a sweet-sounding ring it has.
You really think so?
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
What's this thing?
Looks like trouble. Capital T!
Together we got this! Swallow blade!
Air thrust!
Deny!
I'm also good with airborne targets. I'm never finished.
It got fire!
Now you see what I can do!
Let a marksman handle it.
Demon
Here
Blade!
goes! Bizarre frozen!
Hammer!
Not a chance!
First strike! Not on mine!
Here I come! Swallow blade! I'm not done! Slash! I'm on try this!
Do it! Bizarre frozen!
Hammer!
In the wind!
Swallow blade! I'm on it! Here I come!
I'm out of ammo!
Swallow blade!
Energy!
Take this! I'm on it! Swallow blade!
We managed to pull through.
Hey, Hey, look at that enemy. It's shining.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough! Try this!
Will this help?
Explosive ring! I'm on it!
It's a Zestiria!
Not a chance!
It's in the sky, Renans!
The airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly!
You picked the wrong fight!
I never miss!
You're mine! Demon Fang! Slap!
Here's a healing arc!
I can handle it.
Swallow Blade!
Far enough!
Demon Fang!
I'm all stuffed up! Seal!
You're finished!
Annihilation!
Prepare to be sealed, though. Actually, that's bound
Here's a
more
healing arc!
appropriate.
Less talking, more doing!
Smash you! Slap! Swallow Blade!
Into the shadows!
Demon Fang! Let's go! Demon Fang!
The tide of battle has turned!
That's the power of comrades in arms.
Right, comrades in arms!
What? Sentimental?
Now! Astral energy! Full throttle! Dance in the wind! Here!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Sleep now! Resuscitation! Saving everyone!
No further!
Back into the fray.
Demon Fang! Big Blast!
More for the side!
Nothing gets by me. Far enough.
Slap!
Supernova!
Burn!
I'm on a roll now.
Slap! Demon Fang!
Now!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Easy! Way to go!
First strike!
I never miss!
Take
Let's
it!
get you all touched away!
Slap! Demon Fang!
Into the shadows!
First strike!
Thunder Shield! Astral energy!
Say no more! I can feel my power growing!
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah. We used to run up and down these slopes all the time for our training exercise.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Raging Cascade! In here!
Explosive ring!
Dance in the wind! In here! Get on in there with the others!
You're mine!
Banana, let's go!
Demon Fang!
Do it!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Easy! Way to go!
Swallow Blade!
Can't get out of this!
I'm out! Do it! Kisara, frozen!
Hammer!
Wasn't sweet!
First strike! Demon Fang!
Do it! Doubling!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! There! Go!
I'm on it!
You're getting searing
Demon Fang!
Reload!
Mirror escape! First strike!
Dance in the wind!
Nothing gets by me.
Wasn't sweet!
Explosive ring!
Now!
Remove!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
I'm like bait to them!
If it's in the sky, it's
Demon
mine!
Fang! You picked the wrong fight!
This one's mine!
Demon Fang!
Not on my watch!
Swallow Blade!
I will
Take
dance in the
it!
wind!
Demon Fang!
Do it! Theon! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Not a chance!
Take it!
You're on!
I'm on it!
Explosive
Let me
ring!
help! First aid!
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Denied.
Dance in the wind! Here!
Demon Fang! Try this!
I'm out! Let's get you all!
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight! You're mine!
Now see that you don't get in trouble again.
With this, I can become even stronger.
Oh man, I hope I live long enough to regret this.
In here! Radiant, here!
Try this!
I'm out!
Explosive ring!
Damn it! Annihilation!
Swallow blade! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Where are you going?
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Do it! Law!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Easy! Way to go!
Swallow blade! This one's all mine! Take it!
Annihilation!
Swallow blade! Ignite!
Shouldn't have messed with me!
Demon Fang!
Don't mind if I do!
Flash!
Raging
You're
Canopy!
mine! Swallow
Annihilation!
blade! Now!
Dance in the wind!
Smash you!
Demon Fang!
Air thrust!
Swallow blade!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Demon Fang! Swallow blade!
I'm all sucked up!
Demon Fang!
Eat this!
You're mine!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
All aboard the victory train!
Overconfidence can bite you in the butt. This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
More Dahnan runes here too, I see.
What were people even thinking about?
This won't be easy.
Demon Fang! Try this!
Don't be such a pessimist.
Explosive ring! Swallow blade! Demon Fang! Swallow blade! Infernal turret! Demon Fang!
Let me help.
The enemy wields arms too.
We'll see about that.
Flash! It's over!
Take it.
Burn!
Do it! Astral energy! Full throttle! Will this help?
Demon Fang! Come one, come all! You're mine!
In here!
Now I can let loose!
Did you just heal me?
Yes, I need you, remember?
Right.
Let's get you all
Step back! This one's all law!
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need
No
healing.
further!
In here! I'll be saving this
Far enough!
I'll take you all on! Demon Fang!
Now you see what I can do!
I'm on top! This one's all mine! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off! Here I come! You're finished! Demon Fang!
I never miss!
Not today!
Radiant
Here I come!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Flash! Demon Fang!
I'm on it!
Move it! Yeah! Demon Fang! Swallow blade!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang! Yeah, I look pretty flashy out there.
So glad it met with your approval.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the